Blog Talk Radio.
Raw living is a state of mind, a way of being in alignment with your body. Raw living means you put yourself and your body first. Your host, Geeta Sidhu-Robb, is the founder of Nosh Detox, located in the UK. They offer innovative raw food smoothies sold across Europe. You experience it in your skin, your body, and your mind. And now it's time for Living Raw Radio.
Good evening, everybody. This is Living Raw Radio, and I am your host, Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and it's really lovely to be talking to you again today. And I have on air with us tonight somebody fascinating, really, really interesting, somebody who when I met, I thought, wow, when I grow up, I want to be like you. It was very, very close to that. And so I persuaded her to come on the show. She's bounced me off like 4 times, and then finally managed to drag her on because she's so busy. I'm talking, of course, of Allison Maslan. Hi, Allison, are you there?
Hi, Geeta.
Hey. I want to do a little intro, but part of your introduction is that it's amazing that you've done all these incredible things. I mean, you're CEO of Allison Maslan International. You actually are a coach you were voted one of the top women entrepreneurs who inspire. You've written a book. You have a TV show. I love all the American TV shows because they all have acronyms and we don't have those here. So you've been on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. You're on Virgin America Flight. I mean, there's just this enormous body of work. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I definitely never leave time to get bored, that's for sure.
I mean, but sometimes you look at all this and sort of think, wow, did I really do all that? Sometimes I do. I guess, I don't really look at it that way. I'm always looking at what's the next thing that I can create, what's the next accomplishment. And it's just, I don't know, it's my personality. I'm pretty driven, but I love what I'm doing. So it's really more about expressing my passion. So you're just not one of those people that would say, oh, gosh, I'm working really hard.
No, because I really feel like it's just a way of life. I had somebody in my office this morning who is a really good friend of mine, and she's been in the corporate world for a long time, and I've been a business owner since I was 19. And
wow.
It's just a way of life for me. And, I don't think of it as work. I think of it as just my life. And I love business. I love creating ideas and seeing them come to fruition. Mm. And I love impacting other people's lives in a positive way. So I suppose you could call that work. It doesn't feel like it, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was thinking that one of the things that I have found really remarkable is that, and I'm in a lucky position where I get to talk to loads and loads and loads of really successful people. The thing that is so unique about people like you and like them is that you never hear somebody say, gosh, I work really hard. You just don't hear it. You hear the words like driven, and you hear the words like passion and enjoyment. And it's so clear that when you love what you do, you work so much harder than other people, but it doesn't feel as painful. It can feel other things. It can feel overwhelming and stuff, but not painful in that way. Right?
No. Yeah. I like the challenge personally. It's more, I don't know, I guess that's just that entrepreneurial spirit. If I have a problem or something isn't working or I have a goal that I've set, there's something that just kicks in. It's like, okay, what do I need to do here? So it doesn't cross my mind like, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. It's like, just do.
How do we get it done?
How do we get it done? And I'm that way. I've been working out with the same fitness trainer for 15 years, and I'm really into fitness, which obviously ties in with all of the health, the expertise you have in the health arena. But it's part of. I wouldn't be able to do all that I do if I didn't take care of my body. And, through exercise and nutrition and homeopathy and all of those things. So that really gives me the fuel.
That's a really good point, because, in fact, let's take one step back, because actually the really interesting thing about you, other than the trapeze, which we will get to, is that you're a homeopath. You're a trained homeopath,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. I am, and homeopathy saved my life many years ago, and I discovered homeopathy and really trying to heal myself in my 20s, when I wasn't taking care of myself, and I was pushing myself really hard, and my daughter was young, and I was running all over the place and burned out. Yeah. And somebody referred me to a homeopath. I didn't even know what homeopathy was. I didn't know what the word holistic was. I grew up in the Midwest and Middle America, so my mom, took me to the Western doctor all of the time. And so I just, trusted this person. I'm like, okay, this sounds strange, but, let's give it a shot. And it was so profound on me in so many ways. It really brought me into balance. It helped me to feel empowered. It helped me to let go of things in my life that were not serving me. And I let a difficult business go. I walked away from an unhealthy marriage, and this was all after taking the homeopathic remedy. It just completely, turned me around, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I want to learn this. And so that set me on a whole course to study homeopathy, becoming a homeopathic physician. I even founded one of the largest homeopathic colleges here in the United States in 1999.
That was something I wanted to bring up, because you didn't just learn it. You tried something. You thought it amazing, so you learned it. Then, being an entrepreneur, I suppose, to your inherent core, you then decided to teach it. That then became a business, right?
It did. I know that's it's a habit of mine that ends up happening. But I still work with homeopathic clients. I mean, it's been almost 17 years now. And I haven't found anything as profound as homeopathy, because it really gets to the cellular level of the person and gets to the root cause of what is causing their issues. And when you see these miracles happen on a weekly basis with clients, it's just so profound in your life. So even though I have all these other businesses and I do all these other things, I will always be connected to homeopathy, and I'm very impassioned about that.
Yeah, and so you're there. You've changed your whole life. Homeopathy sounds like it should come with a bit of a "this will shake up your life" warning. Mm-hmm. You have changed literally, I think, everything around you, and you've become a homeopath. You've set up a homeopath, because you were very corporate really before that, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was never in the necessarily quote-unquote corporate world. I didn't work for somebody else. I had a full-service advertising and PR firm that was a national firm that I ran. And so it was, definitely very serious business. So going from that world to becoming a homeopath, people thought that I had totally gone insane. My mom thought I had joined a religious cult. I mean, where they were like, what is she what is, and it was funny too, because at the time there were not many people practicing homeopathy here at all. There were 2 other homeopaths in the entire San Diego County, and I think when people first came to my office, I think they were surprised not to find incense and me wearing a big robe that's tie-dyed and all of that. Wow, this woman is like, she's normal. She's got her feet on the ground. And, I was just, homeopathy is such a science, so there's quite a bit of study to it. And so I really devoted my life at that time to becoming the best homeopath that I could. And I had, I've been seeing thousands of patients really over the years. So it's definitely served me well in so many ways, in keeping me healthy and strong, but also helping others do the same. And it became a very successful and profitable business, too, in that I was a single mom and I was able to pay for my daughter to go to private school, and we could take vacations and things like that. So, I worked really hard, but I loved it. And I got the rewards back from that
Wow.
Twofold.
So when you look at that, so I suppose it doesn't make your jump quite that weird in a way, because if you look at the fact that you're Allison Maslan International is a coaching and mentoring business, you already got into the mindset of changing people's lives, didn't you?
Right, and that was a natural evolvement for me to help people in business coaching, because they would sit in front of me, they would get healthy, and then I would see this whole path of possibilities in front of them, and I would say, well, you're good at this. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And I was doing it anyway. I just hadn't formally put it into a program or a business. And then people started, I was running other companies at the same time. I had a beauty salon, a scuba diving certification company. I had the school. So they're like, how do you do this? Can you teach me? And this light bulb came on. I thought, wow, why don't I do that? Why don't I, create a business? I had to really think about, how do I do it? Because it became natural to me. So I had to put it into a system that then I could teach, and that people could learn step by step. And so people evolved from moving in from the homeopathy to, I just kept launching these people into businesses. I realized that I had a knack for that.
And then you found it's almost like there's a need for it, right? Because there was a place where if you're healing someone, that's great, but then they have different paths they want to move down, and how do you support them moving down that path? Is that right?
Exactly. And we all need that. I mean, I've had amazing mentors in my life, and I couldn't have done it without them. So to have that support, even though someone has the gifts, they don't always have the direction if they haven't done it before. And I find that running a business is the best way to express your creativity out, into the world. And there's so many opportunities for that, I think, now in 2013 more than ever. So it's a beautiful time to become a business owner.
Well, that's a weird thing to say when everybody else is shrinking, right? So although from you that is a typically bullish comment, why would you – when you're in the business you're in now, you're supporting people into creating a business out of their dreams. Would that be a right description?
Yes, twofold, either to help them to start a business or to take the existing business that they have and grow it to a whole nother level.
Now, why is a climate where everything is shrinking and people are making less money and people are spending less money, why is that a good time to set up a business?
Well, we have, first of all, it used to be you would work for a corporation and you'd have that job for your lifetime, and that it's just not that way anymore. And corporate America really ran our economies. But now there are so many people in small business. There are people becoming business owners, more business owners now than ever, and that is really what is fueling our economy. So there's a whole transition that's happening. It's going to take some time till we see the fruits of that, but it's definitely changed, over the last 10 years, especially in the last 5 years. But with e-commerce, so many people can become an entrepreneur. It used to be we did business in our backyard within our community, but those limits are down now, and I can do business with somebody in the UK. My book, Blast Off, hit the bestseller list in the UK. How could that have ever happened, 20 years ago? It wouldn't have happened because, how are they going to find out about my book unless I come there and I, start doing speaking and so forth.
Yes, and then do an author tour and the pain.
Right.
Yeah, because that's really quite hard work. So you think that it's a good idea for them to set up a business. Now, I come to you, and I have a business, and my business is sitting there, kind of taken away, but it's really frustrating. What is it that somebody like you does to help someone like me to grow? Why don't I just put more money in? Why do I need a mentor to what's the big deal about having a mentor as opposed to, my Uncle Jimmy who's running a really good business?
Correct. Well, I think that what a mentor does is it gives you direction and it gives you speed. So if you want to sit there and try to figure it out and you want to dump money into working with people that you don't know if they're going to give you your return on investment or not, you can do that, or you can work with someone like me that says, okay, I have already, I have proven results from these resources. So if you're going to invest in your website or your marketing, why don't you allow me to show you where you're going to get that return on investment so that it's done right. And then also give you the step-by-step so that you're not wandering around trying this and getting little results here and little results there. If someone can show you the path, if they've already been there and done that and they're walking the path themselves, wouldn't you want to follow and what they're doing? I mean, it only makes sense. It's like we go to school and we learn from people that have done it. That's how we learn.
So you're saying that, in fact, even for growing a business, you need it helps to have a teacher, because the teacher's done it, and so kind of like the best teacher would be somebody who's already done it before, and because then they could be
absolutely. Well, if you look at let's say a pro basketball or football coach, for instance, you've got all these very qualified people on the team. It's not like they don't have the expertise. They do. They know how to throw the ball. They know how to get the goals, all of those things. But what a coach does is that they get a strong strategy in place so everybody is on board, and so that you can be most direct, so that you can, you can win the game. And they also, what a coach does is a good coach will hold you to a higher level. They will expect much more from you, and that brings out all of your capability. It won't allow you to stop and procrastinate and give up on yourself. So it's
like
the balance of those
partner.
things.
Like an accountability partner.
Yes, absolutely. And somebody that, in the way that I work, Geeta, which is different than a lot of coaches, I'm not going to just sit there and say, if you ask me, well, how should I, launch this product, I'm not going to say, well, what do you think is the best way to do that? I'm more of a consultant and a mentor just because I've done this before so many times. I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to say, we're going to figure out where we need to be in the next 6 months or year, and then I'm going to outline the steps for you of everything that you need to do. So then you walk away and you've got a plan. You know exactly what you need to do. And, if that doesn't give you confidence, I don't know what will.
And also, from what I know about you, is that you're also the person that's then on the end of the phone going, have you done it? How are you doing? Where did you get stuck? What did you do? Is that because you're very, very hands-on, which is quite surprising.
Well, I get really frustrated if someone isn't, and not because they're not listening to me. It's just that I see the potential in people, and we can definitely spin in our own stuff. And I've been there. I know what it's like. We all have had those days. So it really does help to be able to have someone say, hey, let's look at why you're stuck, and then let's find a solution. I mean, that way you can move out and start seeing the, successful results, so much quicker.
So what are the top, say, 3 obstacles that you see people running into again and again?
Well, the top ones, the first, I think, would be fear. Most people, they get scared and we get into our comfort zone, which is not really comfortable. And we're hiding from all the magic that's out there because it's the unknown. And that's what people shy away from. It's the unknown. But once you step into that unknown, you, all of a sudden that becomes your new comfort zone. It's not as scary once you begin to take the steps. And that's really what I help people do, is just to get started. And it just opens up a whole new world of opportunities. You may not see the path ahead of you. You may not see the bridge. You may not see the money. You may not see the connections. But once you start taking those steps and you have someone like me guiding you along the way, all of a sudden the path appears, the people appear, the money appears. But you have to be willing to walk through that fear, even if you're biting your nails and, you're terrified. Then you become more confident with each step, with each success, and then your fear starts to dissolve.
would this be why Tony Robbins has that whole firewalk thing?
Absolutely, because what happens is that when they're done with something like that, that's why I do the trapeze, you're like, wow, I can do anything. I just walked over coals and I survived. It's when you face things like that, it elevates your knowingness that you can do it. And success, honestly, it's 90% mindset. It's such a mental game.
So it's also that if you bust up their preconceived ideas of who and what they are, you sort of suddenly they put the pieces back together in a different way and they see themselves differently.
Yes, and the thing is, Geeta, we live in our limited world. Our mindset is based on what we see in front of us, okay? Until we've experienced something feeling greater, how do we know, right?
Yeah.
So what I try to do is, one of my sayings is make decisions from where you're going, not from where you're at. Think about where you want to be in your life, in your business, and see yourself there already, even if you have to play this imaginary game with you and visualize that and really feel what that would be like, and then begin making decisions as if you're there already. Because that's the only way that you're going to really break through. If you are making decisions based on being at a level of survival, then you're going to create more of the same on a daily basis.
So you're saying that you can't achieve success from sitting in the same place from where you're seeing failure.
Right, where if you're looking at it based on your present circumstances or from experiences from the past, if they were challenging, and that's what tends to hold us back, because our past is our past. It's not our future. But most people throw the past or old belief systems from childhood or what we've been fed in our minds from our parents or our society, and that's where we create our beliefs and our expectations. And then we create based on those expectations. We create based on those beliefs.
That's amazing. So when somebody comes in, so you're saying that the obstacle they have tends to be primarily fear, and that is a mental, emotional thing. And so when you sit with them and you play back to them how there can be types of success in their future, they kind of tread on the path of the dreams you see for them.
Right, and that's the part where I see, and it's not like it's a psychic gift or anything like that, but I see people's capacity. I see their possibilities. I see the gifts in them. And if they can just start to see what I see, if I can mirror that to them and help them to see the possibilities, and then, once they're on board to say, okay, now let's lay out a plan. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. I'm tired of talking about it. It's all fantasy unless you take action. So putting those together, all of a sudden the confidence does rise, and it lifts you to a whole other level.
It's true, because you can go and see people and come back and have this whole strategic, beautiful mapped out. But unless someone is there, say, just take the first step. No, just, now, gotcha. You don't always do it.
Yeah, I'm a good butt kicker. That's what my clients will say. In a nice way, but, I kick gently, but, with intention, for sure.
You really do. I have this great quote that's just come in from one of the listeners who says, she's pumping me up so much, I'm ready to be number one.
Oh, good. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's fantastic. So what is the second obstacle that you tend to see? That's a lovely word, isn't it? Obstacle. What's the second?
I like to call them stepping stones.
Cool.
Rather than obstacles, it's just a stepping stone to something better.
Cool, because what it does then, that takes away the emotional charge behind the word and makes it just a bit that you have to go over and then move through. Right,
exactly, and, find a solution. So the second thing I would say is, in business, so this is in business in general, what I find challenges people is that we get so caught up in developing our ideas and how we're going to develop our ideas that we're not focused on bringing in revenue to the business. And there are a lot of people out there that have these amazing gifts, and they're healers, or they help people with their dreams, or, whatever that is. They're out there working and doing wondrous work and changing people's lives. But they're not asking for money. And so what happens is, number one, the business has to be very profitable to continue to grow. And if it's not, then, you won't be able to, pay your bills and your employees and things, all of the necessary things to keep your business running.
So you're saying
and therefore, then you can't continue to help people.
So you're saying that it's all very well and good to have an idea. It's all very well and good to have a skill and a gift. But in fact, that the purpose of the business is to create a revenue stream. And so what you're doing is helping them to focus on that approach to what they're doing.
Right, and that it's okay to be successful. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of people really struggle with the whole money aspect, that it's a bad thing asking for money, especially people that are in some sort of the healing or arts world, because they're sharing their passion, they're helping people, they're beautifying. How can I get money in return? The truth is what you're putting out is a lot of energy, and you need to be receiving back a vibration of energy that is at the same level. And so people, a lot of business owners undervalue what their offer is, and you should be paid based on the transformation that you're offering.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that and frequently it's because we set up in business doing the thing that we're really good at, right? We do the thing that we enjoy, the thing that we're good at, and so we don't imagine someone should pay us for something that's so easy for us.
We don't see the value of our gifts. So if you were, for instance, let's say that your value is that you're such a great listener, and by sitting and listening to people and then, giving them solutions to their issue, you're changing people's lives, but you're not really fully seeing the value. But what if I took that skill away from you and I said, you know what, you can't have it anymore, and I'm going to sell it on eBay. I'm going to take that listening. I'm going to take that compassion away from you. I'm going to take that ability to get to, somebody's issues. I'm going to take that away from you. You have it no more, and we're going to sell it tomorrow on eBay. What would you sell it for? Are you going to sell it for $100? I mean, I'm talking U.S. currency here. I know we're in the U.K., but how many pounds? How many euros? What would it be worth? All of a sudden, wow! Now we're talking that it's worth a lot when you don't have it. So you don't appreciate the value of it. So whatever product that you have, whether you're doing plumbing or you're a painter, or a healer, or you have a product for hair growth, whatever it is, you want people to come to you because of this product or service, the genius, the brilliance that you're offering. You don't want them to come to you because of price, because then you become a commodity. And a bag of rice is commodity, and you're not a bag of rice, right? So,
a good bag of rice.
You're lighting up a pathway for people. So many business owners, twofold. One, they don't see the value, and they're not asking for the rates that are commensurate with their offer. And number two, they're not asking for it enough. People, and honestly, when you work with people and they really value what your offer is and they pay for it, they're going to be way more committed to the process of working with you, and they're going to get much better results.
Yes, because they've taken personal responsibility, and that's really what commitment means, isn't it? They've decided that it's up to them to succeed at this thing.
Yes.
But I like so much when you said that it is the value of the transformation that you're charging for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understand that.
Well, we often think we're paying for our time. Someone's paying for your time, and which is true, but that's kind of a nebulous thing, right? Time, but really they're not paying for your time. They're paying for your expertise.
Yeah, and
they're
in fact,
paying
if it's
for
less time, you get a better transformation in less time if you're going to look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really based on the expertise that you're offering. The more expertise that you offer, the more value that you're bringing to the marketplace, the higher that you can charge in the same amount of time. So if I'm working with somebody and and their life transforms, and all of a sudden they've, left a job they were miserable at. They woke up every single day and they were depressed and they were sick because they're pushing this boulder up the hill. And then all of a sudden now they have something they love, they're doing, they're excited, they can barely sleep at night from that excitement. They feel good about themselves. They're confident. They start attracting healthier relationships. They like who they're seeing in the mirror. So am I going to be charging based on the hours of time I spend, or am I going to charge based on, wow, this whole person's life has changed? You almost can't even put a price on that because it's so incredibly valuable. You have to recognize the impact that you're making in the work that you're doing and charge based on that.
That's so interesting. I mean, I love that. That just makes you feel like it's it isn't even about charging. It's almost about exchanging an energy of services. And my energy of service is the knowledge, and your energy of service is the money. I mean, I love that. That is a lovely way to look at it.
And energy is a whole other, that, brings me to the word currency. Would you think of currency is current, which is electricity. Electricity is flowing back and forth. And if I'm putting out a lot of current and a lot of energy and electricity, but I'm not receiving back at that same level, what's going to happen? If I'm giving, and I'm not receiving back, I'm going to burn out. Even if I love it, I'm going to get burned out, and I won't be able to do it anymore. And that's what you see with a lot of, like, for instance, psychologists. They're giving, and they're not receiving back, and therefore they, can't stay in the field for more than 15 years or so, or maybe less.
Well, we're just going to take a short break on that note, and I'm speaking here with Allison Maslan, who is the CEO of Allison Maslan International, and this is Living Raw Radio, and my name's Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and we're going to be back in a couple of minutes. And Allison, when we're back, we want to talk about a couple of the transformations that you've done and seen, that you've helped be part of. It's always amazing to me to see that somebody came in over here, and when they were finished developing and transforming, they ended up here. I love that. And so a couple of success stories would be perfect.
Absolutely. I got some fun ones to share.
Yeah, you've been warned. Okay, we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Bloated? Is your energy levels really low? Do you find everything that you eat goes straight to fat? My name is Candice, and I am the naturopathic nutritionist at Nosh Detox. I am here to tell you that your body needs a rest. If that sounds like you are ready to try a Nosh juice fast. A juice fast is the most natural way for your body to detox, while providing you all the life-saving minerals and vitamins that your body needs and craves. From beginners to advanced juices, we have all the options that may be available to you or suited to you. Call me on 0845 257 6674 or go to noshdetox.com and click on the right program for you. I'm right here to help you and support you. Thank you.
Nosh Detox is an award-winning company for your ultimate health improvement. Nosh Detox system works on all areas of the body, having dealt with thousands of clients whose health dramatically improved within days. For more details, visit noshdetox.com. noshdetox.com.
Hi, it's Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and we're back with Living Raw Radio, and I'm here with the fascinating woman, Allison Maslan, who's CEO of Allison Maslan International. I'm foreign, I can't say all those words in one go. And what Allison is a world-class mentor, actually, for businesswomen and businessmen, and just helps them to do amazing things in their lives and in their business lives, and does this by being this amazingly, grounded. I was going to say grounded, but you do trapeze, so that's not exactly the right terminology for this. But Allison, you're going to tell us about some of the transformations that you've seen. And just before we do that, can you just talk to me about trapeze, please? Because you do trapeze like 2-3 times a week or something, right? You've been doing this for years.
Right. Well, it's funny that you said grounded, because flying trapeze makes me feel more grounded than anything that I do, which is such an oxymoron because I'm, 40 feet up in the air. But I've always been a very physical person. I was a gymnast growing up, and my gymnastic coach built a set of uneven bars in my backyard. And so as a young girl, I used to be swinging on those bars for hours and hours. And so, and I always just loved going to the circus and watching the trapeze. And I thought, wow, I would love to do that. And then in my 30s, I realized that I could. I found this training center in Los Angeles, 5-generation circus family, and really the best training center in all of the United States. So I started going there, and I live in San Diego, so it's about a 2-hour drive for me, and I go up there a couple times a week. And there is nothing like it. I mean, for me, when I got on the trapeze for the first time, I thought, wow, I've come home, which is, people are like, what? That's so odd. But it's a lot like business, really, because in any athletics, I mean, you really have to set a goal. You have to be disciplined. You have to be 100% committed. I can't be wishy-washy up there because I could get hurt or hurt somebody else. Yeah. And one way to get over your fears in life in general is to do something scarier than your fear.
Yeah, but trapeze, I mean, I have been up there. I took my daughter, and we climbed up this ladder. Oh, my God, Allison. It is so high off the ground. The only reason I didn't come back down is because I had a 10-year-old watching me, and I couldn't afford to look like a wuss. I mean, if I was on my own, I think I'd have come back down the stairs. But it was petrifying. I mean, that is a big deal doing that.
It is, and often you don't really realize how scary until you get up there and do it. But it's just one of those things that I love. It's not like a thrill thing, jumping out of an airplane or a bungee jump, because you're doing gymnastics in the air. So you're constantly challenging yourself with new tricks and things. And every time that I accomplish something new, I feel better about myself, and I get so excited, and everyone there is so passionate about the trapeze. We're kind of one big family, and it's a place that I can go and really let go of everything else. And I think we all need that in our lives, whether it's trapeze or golf or painting or running. You need something where you can just release and, just be focused and in the moment. And that's very much, I'm not up there tweeting or thinking about my clients or any other responsibilities. I need to be very focused because it's all about the timing and your throwing your body to the catcher and all of that kind of stuff. And so I just love it.
What does it do for you, taking that break? How does that work for you? Because, I've always wondered about people that work till 5 a.m, and you just think, how could you possibly being effective if you're not stopping? But you're literally running these enormous number of businesses and still taking, a couple of, at least half a day off twice a week to go do this. So what is it that break gives you? What do you find that comes afterwards?
Well, let me just precede that by saying that I used to work like that, till 2, 3 in the morning, just because, I get so focused on what I'm doing. But I find that when I was working like that, those kind of hours, honestly, I wasn't doing my best work, because how can you?
Yeah.
You're not, you don't have that many brain cells left. And so when I began doing the trapeze consistently and the other exercise things that I do, it really energizes me. It fuels me back up and gets me more connected physically. If I'm just using my brain all the time, I feel like I'm living from the neck up. And the rest of my body is not, I'm just not feeling alive. And so when I leave after doing the trapeze, I feel just more connected to myself in general, more fired up and gives me the energy to do the other things that I need to do. And I know that I'm committed to that. That's a goal for me. So if I know that I'm going to take this day off, well, then I need to get the other things done that I've committed to, and to grow my business and support my clients, within the other days of the week. And so I'm much more on point on those other days. I'm not kind of, lollygagging around, because, I want to do my best during that time, and then I can take the time off that I need for myself to go and express this other passion in my life.
Yeah, so what you're doing is it's giving you the focus and the direction, but it's self-imposed there. So tell me some interesting transformations. I mean, I'm sure you have a million stories, but what are some of the interesting things that you found while you've been helping people with their businesses?
Well, as I said, there are two different types of clients I work with. One is somebody that, wants to start a business for the first time, and others that have been in business for many years, but, we really transform their business and take it to another level. Years ago, there was a guy that came to me. His name is Sam Zion, and he was working in the biotech company industry in the corporate world. Prior to that, he was in real estate, and he kind of bounced around. He never really found his passion. He did all right, and 3 kids at home, happy marriage, but just so unfulfilled in his work. And when he came to me, we really worked through this brainstorming process, and what came up for him was that he wanted to, he was an entertainer, really. I mean, he made people laugh. He was wonderful at, being in front of people and leading a crowd and so forth, but he just didn't really know what to do with that. So the idea that came up was to do cooking segments on the news, like short.
And that was his idea?
Yes. We kind of came up with that idea together. He started with travel, and, 9/11 happened. Nobody was traveling, so then the idea that came up was cooking. The funny thing was there were 2 things that were in Sam's way. One is that he had never been on TV before, and the second thing was that he didn't know how to cook. And so for all intents and purposes, you'd say, well, what? How is that going to work, right? And he wanted to quit his job and do this. And, of course, everybody around him was saying, are you crazy? This is not going to work. What are you going to do when you fail? But he had a very clear idea of what he wanted to do. And so I really helped him to stay focused on this goal. And so he called me his AA sponsor back then, because he'd pull to the side of the road in his car and call me and go, Allison, what am I going to do? Everyone's telling me I shouldn't do this. It's the biggest mistake, and everybody is, really against me here. And I said, Sam, you keep your eye focused on that dream, and you walk towards it every single day, and you don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done. Because you're going to have so many naysayers in your life when you're making a dramatic change. That's what happened to me when I let go of that ad agency and became a homeopath. And it's very easy to get swayed into their self-doubt, and you get thrown off your path. Well, Sam has been an incredible success. He's been on the Today Show for many times. He's had 4 best-selling books. He has won a countless number of Emmys. He's just been hugely successful. It's taken a lot of dedication and so forth, but he's been a natural at it. And so that's been a huge success story. I love telling that story.
That's amazing, because I've heard you talk about him a couple of times, but I didn't know where he came from. That's a huge jump, right?
Yeah, and it's just changed. He's inspired so many other people to reach his their dreams, because he took, he was just this regular guy, and he went for it. And so he wrote the foreword to my book, Blast Off, and telling his story and how I helped him. And so that was, he's just a wonderful person and a good friend. Another woman, Denise, who was a teacher when she came to me, and she was just tired. She'd been a teacher for years, really wanted to have her independence, have her own business, didn't know what she wanted to do or could do. And so I took her through this brainstorming process that I have developed.
What's that called, your process?
I call it the magic. And there's several processes that I take my clients through where we really look at the things that have, that they loved doing as a kid, things that made them happy, because that's a time in your life when you don't have the responsibilities, you don't have the demands, you're more of a dreamer, and you are drawn to things that you're naturally aligned with. And then we tie those also to what your skills are, what your talents are, or people say to you, hey, you know what, you're so good at that, right?
Yeah.
But we don't always recognize it. So we match the things that we're passionate about with the things that we're good at, and then I'm able to look at those things and come up with the ideas of how to turn those into businesses. And so with Denise, what came up for her was she's just very detailed, great at organizing. She used to do this for her friends. She'd go in and organize their closets and things like that. And she also really loved helping people become beautiful in themselves, help with makeovers and with their clothing and how they feel about themselves. So I helped her start a company called Outside In Organizers, and so she helps them on the organizing their house, but also with their image consulting. She's created a very successful business, and now she's training other people to do the same. So
she's actually started like an institute almost. Exactly.
And she also helps people with their time management, and it's just been so exciting to watch. She has been part of my Pinnacle program. I have a year-long mastermind program for business owners from around the world. I've had people from the UK attend this program as well. Denise has been part of that. So it's just been very rewarding, because I remember sitting in my office from the very beginning saying, I don't know what I could do. And now she completely supports herself with this lucrative business, and she loves it.
That's amazing. So, you must just sit there. I mean, doesn't it just every time because we all have good days and bad days, and when you have a bad day, you can think about something like that and think just how amazing that is.
Well, that's really, to me, what's the most rewarding thing. And, I feel very blessed to have the relationships I do with my clients. I care about them greatly. And, I want to see them to reach their potential. And so when they do, that's my life's work. And, I really feel that I have found my true calling.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? Because it means that you're just in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for the right people.
Yes, I feel blessed. And when you are in the zone, it just naturally happens. And so, we, often undervalue what we came into the world to do. Everybody has their gifts. And we, as a child, people say, what do you dream of? What do you want to be when you grow up? And you have all of these visions of what you want for yourself, but then you get to, your 20s and people are saying, who do you think you are? And, why do you think that you could do that? And that's never going to work. And all of that beauty gets suppressed. So we need to get beyond that. And so I feel blessed that I did, and I was able to break out and say, you know what, everything that I do in my life, I've got to be 1,000% passionate about it. It needs to be a hell yes or forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what is a good way for people that are listening to get in touch with you and to touch a little bit of you and see how they feel and just flat out work with you? What would be a good way to do that?
Well, I think the most direct way would be for them to email me, and my email address is Allison, Allison, at myblastoff.com, which is MYBLASTOFF.com. Or you can go to my website, myblastoff.com, like the rocket, and just, look at the different programs that I have. And I work with clients. I do one-on-one. I have a year-long mastermind program, which is amazing. And then we have other incredible products that I've created to help people to get this clarity and, give them that step-by-step plan so they feel the confidence and they have the tools to succeed.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that, just very quickly is that you have this amazing, incredible software that you've created, which I actually think is worth a separate mention completely on its own, because your software, you have created something like having a virtual mentor side by side every single day of your life. And I just don't think this is sort of something you sing about enough, because it is amazing. It's a product that, tell me how you got there. Talk to me about this just for a couple of minutes, because I'm moving, I just love it so much. I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. And it's called the Interactive Life Coach, and you can actually go to that on its separate site, and it's www.interactivelifecoach.com. Yeah. And I created the software because I was on the search for some sort of software system for my clients to help them stay on track with their goals, some sort of success software. And I looked and looked and looked, and everything I found was so complicated and boring. And I thought, well, shoot, I would never use that. And so I just, as I do, I thought, well, it's not there, so I'm going to create it. And so I did, and I put all the things in the software that I would like for myself to keep me focused and on track to reach my goals, help me get the clarity I need to put the plans together in business, but all aspects of life. I have, even for relationships and money and our spiritual life, our health, we can, stay on track to reach our goals. So, I'm pretty proud of that software, and I have, many people around the world that are using it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. You've kind of thought of every little thing that you need to, and it's all there. And it just is something that you've done, I think, spectacularly well. And not many people go to the lengths that because the lovely thing about you is that you're so detail-oriented, that you've gone through everything that you could be going through and saying, right, you're going to need this, right, you're going to need that, then you're going to need that, and then you put it all in there. And I really think, quite in a really unbiased fashion, that it's a spectacular piece of software. I've always thought that. So
thanks.
Yeah, I think that if anybody wants to actually go out and look for that's a positive step. Really, you should, because I've had the privilege of looking at it, and I thought, wow. And so I'm really pleased with it. So
thanks. I have all my clients use the software, and they love it. And I've even had software developers get on there and go, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. So, but it's also a testament, too, that, this was an idea that I had and created it, even though I really didn't know much about the software industry. I knew that it was a good idea, and I just pulled the team of people together to help me to develop it.
And that's something that okay, so that's something interesting. When you say you pulled a team of people together, tell me, one of the things I find difficult with a lot of entrepreneurs is I find that they try and do everything themselves. What would you think of as one of the biggest, 2-3 biggest no-nos that you see when people are doing business, that you think, no, please don't do that? Just very quickly, we have about 5-6 minutes. What do you think are the 3 top things that people shouldn't do, and why?
Well, this is part of the reason that I burned out when I had the ad agency years back. I was great at doing a lot of the different things, but you can only be in so many places at once. You can only see so many clients till you max out. You can only take care of so many things at one time before your brain explodes, and you will max out on the level of revenue that you can bring in for your company. So if you're doing tasks in your business that you can pay somebody, $15 an hour, then you will never get a very high revenue because you're losing money. If I'm charging $200 an hour and I'm doing tasks that I can pay someone $15 an hour, I'm losing $185 an hour. So
I'm not making it though. So how do you know I'm losing it? Isn't that what you?
Well, you are losing it because you could get out there and be getting your business and growing your business instead of sitting there and running errands or putting the billing together, filing, things like that. Yeah. And so you need to, and then the other aspect is that your goal is to be the dumbest person in your company, which is kind of sounds silly, but you want to surround yourself with people that are experts in the areas that you need your business to grow. And so that's what's going to catapult your business the fastest, is to have people around you, have a good mentor, and that can help you find these resources, but to have the right person that's going to help you with marketing and with your website and sales and things like that, rather than trying to do it all yourself, because then it's so overwhelming and then it takes the fun out of it. Yeah. So you've got to learn to delegate. When you get to a certain point and you start really growing, you need to have a team around you, that you cannot do it without that. You don't need to have, it's not like you have to have hundreds of employees or anything. That's not what I'm saying. You can have a very small team, but you want the right people in place.
So, okay, you've got to have a team around you. What else?
Well, I think that the other thing is that you've got to stay really on point with the vision of your business. As business owners, we have that shiny object syndrome where, that looks fun. Oh, that looks fun. I'll try that. Let me create that. And, I've been guilty of that, so I know. So it's not that you can't do those things, but you have to pick a path, put the other things in a holding pattern bucket for later, and you follow it through. And if you get an opportunity, but it's not going to lead you to the end goal that you're trying to achieve, then you need to say no. So I'd say the next thing is, we as business owners, especially as women, we like to please people. We don't like people mad at us. So we say yes all the time, and we say yes to things that aren't serving us or anybody else.
No, exactly. And things we shouldn't say yes to.
Things we shouldn't say yes to, and then guess what? Then you're standing there. There's no time for you. There's no time to achieve the things that you desire because you're taking care of everybody else. And then you get resentful. It's just, it's not a good path to go down. So it's really all about setting those boundaries, elevating yourself enough to see that you're worthy to reach your dreams. And then just, like I told Sam, you put your head towards that goal, you walk towards it every single day, and you don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done.
Fantastic. So tell me now, just before we go, what is the thing that inspires you the most? What is the thing that makes you think, for you as a person, for Allison Maslan, not for the mentor, not for the business, what is the thing that just makes you buzz?
When I see somebody prevail in triumph through their challenges, that's what lights my fire. Yeah. Is when I see someone, they've had some big challenges, but they're not sitting there whining about it and complaining. They pick themselves up and they just do what it takes until they break through. That is so inspiring to me, and I love those kinds of stories. And that's what keeps me going. And so I really want to impart to people out there, I don't care what your circumstances are, stop the pity party, get up, dust yourself off, and make it happen. That's what we're here to do, is to make a difference and share our gifts with the world. And when you can do that, in spite of the situation in yourself, it makes it even that much more beautiful.
Cool. Well, that's fantastic. It has been such a pleasure, and it's been really fun hanging out with you for what feels like a very short time, and in fact it's been a whole hour. And it's just been nice learning stuff, I love the fact that there were a couple of real serious takeaways for me from there. I took away the fact that, in fact, it's the value of the transformation. I took away the fact that it really, really, that if you can, within you, stay focused in a particular place, then that's ultimately a definition of success. The rest just comes following that. And to me, that's wonderful. I really enjoyed that.
Good. Me too. This was fun. Thank you. You asked great questions.
Good. That's part of the job description. So this was Allison Maslan, who's the CEO of Allison Maslan International. And she is just the most amazing mentor and friend, and it has been a pleasure. So, Allison, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome, Geeta. Thanks for having me.
And my name is Geeta Sidhu-Robb, and this is Living Raw Radio. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and we will speak to you next week. I was going to say see you next week, but we'll speak to you next week. Take care.